Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. So, there have been sort of developments in the Rachel Morin case. We're going to look at my favourite sheriff, Jeff, being interviewed on News Nation, just to let us know the latest developments. So this guy, Rachel, let me just refresh your memory if you don't know about this case or if you've forgotten the details. Rachel Morin went for a walk on a Saturday evening on the Morin Park Nature Trail in Maryland, USA, and was found shortly afterwards. We don't know the full details of how she died because they haven't been released. It seems like it was a very, very brutal, violent attack, and probably, but we don't know for sure, probably motivated by sex. But again, all the details have not come out yet because nobody has been arrested yet. However, then the DNA that was found on poor Rachel was a 37-year-old mother of 5 children. So 5 children lost their mother that day. The DNA on her was linked to a home invasion miles and miles away, right over the other side of America in Los Angeles. And then when they looked into that, they found some door cam. So they have some door cam of the perpetrator. And we're going to see the sheriff explaining here why they weren't able to make a photo fit of the guy. Because the door cam, although it's very, very clear, and again, we'll see it in a moment, it doesn't show the full face. It shows the side of the face. But to me, I still can't believe that nobody has come forward to identify this guy. If you knew him, if he was a person that you knew, you would know from watching the door cam. You would recognise him. There's enough for that. You know, it's difficult if you didn't know him to put together the face. But if he was a person in your circle in some way, work circle, friend circle, family circle, you would know who this man is. There's enough. You can see enough to know that. He's got distinctive hair, he's got distinctive body shape. He, to me, walks, you know, his legs are quite distinctive, but we're going to look at all that. But he hasn't been caught yet, so this is over 2 months ago, and still nobody has come forward. And the reward money for information leading to the apprehension of this suspect is now at $30,000, which is a substantial amount of dollars. So he's thought to be Hispanic. So now all the flyers, etc., have been translated into Spanish, and there's been more concentration made on the Hispanic population of these areas. But these areas are so far away from each other. You know, it literally means this guy could be anywhere. You know, but he's putting his, you know, as Jeff said in the previous interview that I watched him in, he's laying his head somewhere at night. Where is he laying his head? So before we just look at this video to see what he's got to say, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to all my subscribers. Subscribe, like, share the videos. And I also want to say thank you to my members. If you want to join my channel, it's €1.99 a month, and it's cancelable every time. And every Thursday evening we have an interesting members-only live stream, which if you can't make the live stream, you can always, the video will always be there unedited for you to see. And you can also hear my new crime novel being serialized. Okay, so let's have a look at this video. Now, I quite like this sheriff, Jeff, he's called. I can't remember his surname. Jeffrey Garler, because he's always very calm, but he gives the information he can give. He doesn't get defensive about things. Right, just let me check. Let me just make sure it's... Oh. screen. Yeah. So let's see what this is. News Nation YouTube channel, very good for news. Is this one, along with, as you know, I use for American news, I quite often use JLR Investigates. I use several channels, but I like this channel too. So this is Ashley Banfield. I like her because she does wear her emotions on her sleeve a bit, and I like that because then you think she's a real person.
Unbiased coverage.
Oh, I'll go back to the beginning.
It's hard to believe it's been 2 months since that mom of 5 went for a run and never came home, Rachel Morin.
Yeah. So this poor woman, very attractive woman, very striking woman, you know, in appearance wise, obviously looked after herself, you know, and was fit. And that's why she went for a run on the Saturday evening, round about 6 o'clock in the evening. She decided to go for a run on this nature trail, which to all intents and purposes is very safe. There's quite often a lot of people around. She obviously didn't think there was anything scary about it. Off she went on her own and never came back.
Beautiful woman and just a grisly, filthy, horrifying crime scene. On a running trail, Morin Are Trail, Bel Air, Maryland. Place where you would not expect that to happen. And then
yeah, so it's not a place that's dangerous where there's things happening all the time. It's total, you know, bolt from the blue.
Turned out the DNA that the killer left at the scene matched.
I love this picture of Rachel with the short curly hair and one of her children kissing her on her cheek. It's just beautiful.
DNA from a home invasion in LA. Well, now we got somewhere. And there was video of the man leaving that home invasion. There it is. Look closely at the pocket.
Yeah, so this is the guy coming out of the house. It was a home invasion. It's very mysterious. We haven't had the full story of how it was a home invasion. Apparently he assaulted a minor, but not an sex assault. So how he ended up in this house, not really sure. You know, we don't know all the details. But this is the door cam that was captured.
Look closely at the pocket. You can see a cell phone.
Yeah, now she's pointing out the pocket, the cell phone, which hasn't really been pointed out before. So to me, let me just, well, they will show it again. I'll pause it next time. He's a very, you know, he's stocky, isn't he? He's very broad. He's got the shaven hair, which of course he might not have now, but he had it then, so somebody will recognize him from then. He's got like his shirt off. Why has he got his shirt off? He looks like he's got like jogging bottoms on or whatever, you know. He's not dressed for a party, is he? But let's see. And he's got a mobile in his pocket, so they must have pings.
So why do we not have an arrest? Why don't we have a suspect yet? Why is this all we have? It's a good question. I want to bring in now the man in charge of the investigation, Harford County's Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor. Sheriff, thank you so much for being with me. I am told.
So I just want to say, as he goes out there is a bit as he comes out the door where you can very clearly see his profile. And then as he goes out the door, it looks a little bit, do you know who he reminded me of a little bit? I bet he's been driving me mad, me thinking, who does he remind me of? He reminds me of Maradona for some no reason. But anyway, and as he goes down, I think he looks a little bit bow-legged.
That investigators have spoken to someone in the D.C. area today connected to the case. What does that mean?
So just let me go back.
I am told that investigators have spoken to someone in the D.C. area today.
Connected. Go down the stairs.
It's a good question. I want to bring in now the man in charge of the investigation, Harford County's Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor. Sheriff, thank you so much.
So this is Jeffrey Gaylor. He's the sheriff from Maryland County, where Rachel was murdered. So he has no jurisdiction here in this area, but obviously I'm presuming he's working with the LAPD. But of course they'll work very differently. You know, they're from completely different parts of America. They'll work in different ways. I'm presuming that they're working together. Yeah, and it always seems to be him that's been interviewed, though. I suppose because the Rachel Morin is a murder and it's much more important than a home invasion. But yeah, we never see the LAPD being interviewed, or I haven't seen them anyway.
Much for being with me. I am told that investigators have spoken to someone in the DC area today connected to the case. What does that mean, connected to the case? I mean, you probably can't tell me who it is, but can you quantify what that means?
I wish I would be able to give, there's such public awareness about this case, and we're again asking for the public's help. Look at that video. We think someone out there knows him, and I wish I could give you more detail. Just again.
So poor Jeff, every time he comes on, he always says, "Oh, I wish I could give you more detail," but he does sound genuinely that he does wish he could give more details. But yeah, I think they're really hoping that somebody is sooner or later is going to say, "Look, we know who this man is. Somebody knows who he is."
And the investigators working a lead. This wasn't the result of a tip. This is a result of evidence related to the crime, leading our investigators into the DC metro area.
So that's interesting because he says this was not the result of a tip. This was the result of evidence leading us to the DC area. So, gosh, it's very cryptic, isn't it?
Where they interviewed an individual relevant to this investigation. It is not a suspect, but hopefully somebody who can point us in the right direction to identifying that person who is seen on camera out there in Los Angeles. But again, I want to emphasize, I do think that someone out there recognizes him, knows who he is, and the family has put up an extra $10,000 on top of our 10, and now the law firm for the family has announced another 10. There's 30.
Oh, right. Okay. So 10,000 is from the police, 10,000 is from the family, dollars, and 10,000 now originally yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, they were saying it was an anonymous donor, the other 10,000, but he's saying it's from the law firm.
$30,000 out there for someone to
help find
do the
him.
right thing and tell us who he is.
That's a good incentive, and I'm glad you mentioned the video. We're playing it again of the suspect who left the home where the home invasion happened in LA. But I have to ask you something. That door slams, and there's what I think is a male hand inside the home slamming the door on this departing assailant. And that makes me think that the male hand saw the face because he doesn't have a mask on.
Yeah, so as he came out of the house, he was facing whoever was closing the door. So yes, he did see the face.
Why don't we have a sketch? I mean, weren't they able to give you some identifying qualities of this now we know killer?
Yeah, because normally we have an e-fit, don't we, or in a case like that now. It's very interesting what he says now. You know, what does this mean?
Sure. And again, that question's been asked a lot. That is indeed a male's arm, and we have released, of course, there was a female that was assaulted in there. Both of them saw the face of this suspect. And investigators have talked about the possibility of a sketch, but we don't have one which, without going into detail, is going to say that they weren't able to provide us with enough information to go down that road.
So they weren't able to provide us with enough information to go down that route. Now, does that mean they didn't want to? Does that mean that they literally don't remember? Because this is, quite a while ago now. I think it was back in March. So it may be that they just don't remember enough about him. I mean, what they're going to say is got black hair, brown eyes, is Hispanic. So maybe he didn't have any, as I noticed, he didn't have any tattoos, or none that we could see. And to be honest, in this day and age for a young person, because I think he's sort of mid-20s to mid-30s, probably late 20s. It's quite unusual, isn't it, to not have a tattoo, which is something that made me think that he may be military of some kind, but, we don't know. We are literally just hypothesizing. We're literally speculating, I openly admit it is speculation. But it's funny that so two of them saw him. The man who closed the door and the young girl that he apparently assaulted. So who why could they not do an EFIT? You know, between them, why could they not describe him? Strange.
When you say they, you mean LA couldn't give you the information, or those two people?
Sorry, I just want to say as well, the perpetrator, he did have a gold necklace on as well. So, you know, each of those things in themselves, I suppose, are not going to identify him, but someone must know someone who had, with the haircut, the necklace, no tattoos, you know, broad-shouldered. There's one point where he's coming out, you can see his profile as clear as day, and these sort of slightly bow legs, if you like. Maybe that's why he reminds me of Maradona. He's sort of chesty, wasn't his chest out and that, but put all those together and the mobile hanging out of his tracksuit bottoms and that, surely somebody knows him.
I believe the minor female who was assaulted and the male who slams the door, they didn't have enough information on him to give him to get a sketch artist to render something. Which one is it?
Well, certainly, I don't know. LA is conducting their own investigation into the crime out there, which was some months back, and I don't know. I can't say factually whether that was asked for or not by them at the time of that crime.
Yeah, so I think basically he doesn't know. If sometimes I think, are they liaising enough? But the other thing I want to ask you, what has he got on his feet? This guy was trying to work. At first I thought he was barefoot, but I don't think he is. But what has he got on? Like plimsolls? They don't look like, you know, big trainers, like just like boat shoes type things. Look white. But if any of you can, you know, got any ideas?
Our investigators traveled to Los Angeles and went to that residence with the Los Angeles Police Department, and those kind of things were pursued as possible investigative leads, but were not able to be developed any further. So we don't have that.
I want to help you. I want that sketch on the air. I want to help you help LA find this guy. But it is so hard with such a tiny piece of evidence as that ring cam. We only see the back of him, but we do see a cell phone. He's got a cell phone. So the next question, obviously, in digital forensics, what about matching pings? Whatever pinged in that neighborhood on that.
Now, so she's highlighting the cell phone in his pocket there. And when you listen to what Jeff has to say, basically saying that whatever they could do, they have done. So will he have thrown that phone away by now? Can we see a little bit about what he's got on his feet there? He's got some sort of white shoes on. Yeah, I just think he's so distinctive. I think, if you knew him, you would recognize him from that.
That night, what pinged in, you know, Harford County the day that, the evening that Rachel was killed? Aren't there any forensics that match?
Well, I would say so far, you know, there's a lot of things that can be done technology and science-wise between technology there, cell phone, other devices, or the DNA, and we are working all those leads. We have a lot of people calling us, letting us know what can be done. Trust me, our investigators know what can be done. We're not releasing the actual investigative details, of course, but trust me, if it's been suggested, it's already been done.
I believe you.
Sure. So, you know, he's right. They just basically, I'm surprised they come on and do these interviews, really, because he must think, gosh, he can't actually say anything, or not much, can he? You know, he can't give away details of the investigation. So, but I do like him, because I do think he manages to say something without saying anything, in a way, if that makes sense.
We're following these leads.
I believe you. My only concern, having done this job for way too long, is that he's out there and we've all been told he's going to do it again. And it's been 2 months. So I'm fearful about the next victim. And I know that when there are exigent circumstances like that, you can jump the line in the investigations. You can jump the line in DNA. You can jump the line in the digital phone ping match. So that's why I'm asking, why don't we have that yet?
Well, no, I will tell you, everyone from the state police to the FBI, the people that we are turning to help us with either technology or science, there is no delay in processing evidence in this case. We are getting all the cooperation necessary. It's just that hasn't identified none of those leads.
So basically what he's saying is we have done all that. They've probably got a load of information, but they cannot join the dots, because they don't have a name. They don't have a name. Nobody's identified him. Or maybe somebody has somewhere along the line, but they can't track him down. So basically what he's saying is, yes, we've got all that information, but it's like, it is like join the dots, isn't it? So you're lining everything up, and then you just need, or a jigsaw puzzle, that one last thing that puts all the other things together. And we're just constantly waiting for a break in this case.
It's taken us to identify that person on that video. And again, you know, although we're following other leads, that video remains our best lead so far. And yeah, you're right. It's not the best video. It's the best we have. But someone out there, off of what they see in that picture, knows who that guy is.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation now.
So yeah, go over to News Nation and subscribe. It's a good news channel because they put out a lot of these sort of little nuggets, you know, of information on things. I've used them quite a lot. I've used them for the as well as JLS for the Charlotte Senna kidnap case. So, well, I'll be updating on that later today. That is a fascinating case. That I think there's so much more to come out in that case. Things are not what they look like. You know, the guy, obviously they've caught the guy, and obviously he had something to do with it because he had the little girl there in his trailer in the cabinet. But so many things don't add up there, don't they? You know, strange. Surely he didn't do it alone. You know, this is a disabled guy, apparently, with multiple sclerosis. But anyway, it'll all come out in the wash. Okay, so I just thought I'd give you that little nugget about Rachel Morin. I know a lot of my subscribers and my members, a lot of you, you've been with me through this while we've been sort of up in the middle of the night for press conferences and God knows what. And we probably will be again, hopefully, at some point when he's finally apprehended. I cannot wait to see this guy caught because it's just terrifying that he's still out there, and he could be anywhere because he's been from one end of the country to another. He literally could be anywhere. Okay, so remember to live and love carefully, wisely, and always look after yourself because you are the most important person. And if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after anybody else. And I will see you very soon in the next video. Until then, may your God go with you. Thank you so much.